Hello, 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 and good morning, everyone, and welcome to Miss Elaine's Read Along. I am Miss Elaine, and we are here with Engineer Evan, who is on the controls this morning. It is time for yet another book. Yes, this morning we are reading Ida Always, and I must warn you that this is not another silly book. No, this book is actually really serious. So, for those of you who are looking for a fun filled book to laugh and play today, today is not the day. But it is a book about friendship. Yes, it is a book about friendship. We are talking about a serious theme today. So, I must warn you before we get into the book that it is serious, quite serious today, but it is about warm friendship. It is a book about loss as well. So I wanted to just kind of put that disclaimer out there before we get started, okay? Um, so I know we can't be fun and have fun and games all the time. So we have to have both sides of life. This happens to be one of my favorite books. I have read it, I don't know how many times. I've shared it a few times with some of my students. I read it personally. I just love children's literature, and that's what we do. If we find a great book, we read it over and over and over again, but most importantly, we share it with others. So this is Ida Always. It's written by Caron Levis and Charles Santoso. And I just want to thank them so much for just sharing their gift with the rest of the world. It is just, uh, you'll see what I'm talking about once we get into the book. And I hope you enjoy it as much, or maybe even more, than I have been able to enjoy this book. All right, well, let's see who's checking in already. The Snodgrasses are checking in. Good morning. They're checking in from YouTube. We have three different streams going on this morning. We have YouTube, my personal page, um, on Facebook, as well as the business page, Miss Elaine Production. So I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hi, Miss Kenya. Good morning. Miss Kenya is checking in from Facebook. Miss Carol Spencer is checking in from Facebook as well on the business page, Miss Elaine Productions. Thank you so much, you guys, for checking in. I appreciate you. Thanks for not having me read by myself this morning, although I've read by myself all week, but it's so much fun to read with friends. Wouldn't you agree? All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump in here. What I want to know, how was your week? How was your week? Some of us have been just starting new adventures. I hope you guys were able to just step right on into your next thing in life. That next thing could be your next big thing, or the step to the next big thing. But I hope you are able to do it. And even if you were just a little bit afraid, do it afraid. All right. So who else is Shanika Spencer? Good morning. You, me. I'm checking in. All right. I'm so glad to have you here with us today. All right. So it is now September. Can you all believe we are now in September? Wow, wow. It is kite flying season. That's what I'm excited about. I'm ready to get out there and fly some more kites. I got to fly some kites in August, but it is also hurricane season, so the winds are picking up a little bit. So while we have the hurricanes on one side, we have kite flying season on the other side. So I get to benefit from that. Miss Carol Spencer is laughing at Miss Shanika. All right, you guys. So once again, I just want to let you all know that this book is not our laugh out loud, knee slapping book. It is quite serious, but it is a beautiful story about friendship nonetheless. How many of you guys have a really, really good friend out there? It is such a blessing to have a friend. Miss Shanika said, I need to try it one more time. Kite flying, I think you enjoyed it that time that you flew a kite with me. And I would love to go flight kind with you again. Yes, we should try it one more time. We should go buy a new kite, though. Yes, one with a long, long tail. Absolutely. We'll talk about that right after the show. I think we have an extra day this weekend to do that, Labor Day weekend. All right. Oh, Miss Yvette says that I am her really good friend. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna cry before I start this book. Thank you so much, Yvette. I feel the same way about you. Okay. All right. I'm not gonna cry on this show. Okay. And Miss Kenya says, I have great friends. I know, Miss Kenya, I know you do because I count myself in that number as well. All right, you guys, let's start reading the story because some of you can call me later. Okay. All right. And before we get started though, don't forget to like, share, and talk about this program. Okay. All right. But most importantly, don't forget to share the program, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. All right, let's get started. This is Ida Always. Gus lived in a big park in the middle of an even bigger city. Buildings grew around him and shifted the shape of the sky. Zookeepers poked in and out, and visitors came and went. Kenya says, as you should, you are my great sister friend. Thank you, Miss Kenya. But every morning when the keys clicked and the shoes clacked, Gus crawled out of his cave and spent his day with Ida. Ida was right there, always. Well, now that's a friend you can always count on. And when Gus tossed the ball, Ida was there to catch it. And when Gus splashed the water, Ida was there to splash him right back. They chased and raced until the school bells rang. Oh, Ida was his buddy. And when the two friends flopped onto their favorite rock while the city pulsed around them, I wish we could see it, Gus sighed. Oh, you don't have to see it to feel it, said Ida. Listen. They heard the buses groan and trucks rumble, police whistle and taxis honk, pigeons coo and people say, hey, wait, ho, hello, and children laugh. That's the city's heartbeat, said Ida. It's right here with us, always. It kind of looks like our city, just a little bit. And we have a zoo in the heart of the city called Lincoln Park Zoo, and it's pretty cool to visit. I try to make it there at least once a year. If not Lincoln Park, then the Brookfield Zoo. When the sky grew dark, Gus and Ida waved goodnight and crawled into their caves. When with the subways humming underground, they added their snores to the sound of their city. Every night was always the same. Until one morning, when the keys clicked and the shoes clacked, Gus crawled out. But Ida wasn't there. Gus lumbered to Ida's cave, and he heard her breathing, coughing, snoring, sleeping. He sat in their sunniest spot and waited. The coffee carts ground their beans, and the squirrels squabbled over crumbs. Visitors shuffled in, and keepers bustled about. Ida had never slept so late. Snow monkeys and taxicabs screeched. Ice cream trucks jingled, and Ida still didn't come. Where's Ida? Keeper Sonia came instead. Sonia told Gus that Ida was very sick. Usually there's a way to make a sick bear better, but this time was different. Ida wouldn't hurt, but she would get tired and too weak to swim and play. Then one day, when her body stopped working, Ida would die. Sonia's voice was soft. But the words felt rough to Gus. His insides churned and his chin shook. The sky rumbled and Gus rushed to his friend. "Don't go," he growled. "Don't go. Don't go. Don't." Ida growled right back. Together they stomped and snarled, and their growls turned into howls so loud that they filled up the zoo, rising higher than the skyscrapers, scaring pigeons surging toward the sky, the stars. And then they stopped. Two friends folded into one shadow and slumped quietly on the rocks. Two bears' noses sniffled. Two bare breaths panted. Two bare hearts echoed each other's beat. A plane roared overhead. Gus and Ida wondered where it was going. They wondered where Ida was going too. They wondered and guessed and imagined as they whispered nose to nose. "Well, wherever I go," said Ida, "I bet I'll always smell your fishy breath." That made Gus smile. He wasn't sure if he should, but Ida was giggling too. They let their laughs bounce back and forth between them. From then on, Ida spent most days in her cave. She slept a lot, but she didn't hurt. The keepers took good care of her, and Gus helped. He gathered her favorite toys and fishy treats. He brought her visitors' notes as well. There were growling days and laughing days, and days that mixed them up. Look at them. Sometimes Ida needed a moment alone, and sometimes Gus did too. But at the end of each day, Gus always told Ida, "I'll miss you." And Ida always told Gus, "I'll miss you too." They would cuddle until the sky grew dark and the lamps of the city clicked on. They would wave goodnight 1,000 times, then wave a few times more. Then one sunny day, while Gus smoothed her fur, Ida curled into quiet. Her eyes fluttered shut, and they didn't open anymore. Gus pressed one last pat into Ida's paw. The paper shared the news. The city cried. For days, the zoo was filled with goodbyes. The newspaper says, "Goodbye, Ida." Ida was well loved. Now, when the keys click and the shoes clack, Gus crawls out of his cave, knowing Ida won't be there. He dives and swims alone. He eats his lunch with Sonia, and they roll Ida's favorite yellow ball. Some days Gus forgets. He looks for Ida on the rock in her cave behind the waterfall. When he remembers she isn't there, he rests in the shadows. But even in the shadows, the sounds of the city reach him. He hears the buses groan, and the trucks rumble, police whistle, and the taxis honk. Pigeons coo, and people say, "Hey, wait! Yo, hello!" And the children laugh. Gus smiles, and he steps onto the spot where Ida liked to soak in the sun. and he listens to their city pulsing around him. And he remembers that Ida said that you don't have to see it to feel it. The sidewalks tap and the streets hum, and Gus's heart beats. And Ida is right there, always. The end. This was Ida Always. And I made it through without crying. Almost. This is such a sweet story, just about true friendship, taking care of each other, and just loving on each other until whatever, until come what may. Shanika says, "Oh, Ida." Kenya sends hearts. And Carol says, "Poor Gus, the sad city." Yes. And Gus feels it. And Ida is always in his heart. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And I realized that, yes, this is a children's book, but yes, it has very adult themes in it, but it has human themes in it. Yes, who doesn't have friends? Who doesn't experience love for a friend? Yes. Um, and children sometimes get sick as well as adults. And we all experience loss. But more importantly, we experience love and friendship. And isn't that the wonderful thing? And just learning to appreciate and handle those things while our loved ones are here. That's the important thing, right? Our loved ones and our friends. Yes. And children more than you know experience loss of friends more often than not, unfortunately. But this book is just so very tender and so very sweet, and just a rush of emotions when I read it all the time. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm a little blurry today, but we're gonna fix that. Maybe that's good, because then you all can't see what's going on over here. That's good. That's fine with me. Okay, so yes, Kenya says the loss of a friend. Yvette says this was an important read. Thanks for that. Yes. No problem. No problem. I love having this book in my personal library. But this was Ida Always by Caron Levis and Charles Santoso. So I want to thank them so much for sharing this and releasing this to our world. Very talented too there. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Like I said, I have read this book over and over and over again, and not one time have I been able to get through it without crying. I guess I'm just emotional like that. I just love children's literature. They just really, really touch me. I'm either crying with the book, I'm either laughing with the book, smiling. Yes, and I love sharing really, really good literature with my friends, which is what this platform is all about. You are my friends, and I want to be able to share some good literature with you. All right, in hopes to help you to think, feel better, whatever it is. I hope that it helps you in your daily lives as well. And I hope that it encourages you to keep reading. You see how it opens it up? It gives us the insight into a zoo. Of course, it's fictional because it's about some polar bears talking to each other. But we know for a fact that animals do feel. Absolutely. They really, really do. So that is it. That is all I have for you today. And honestly, I can sit here and read books all day. But I know that you have to go and I have to have my second breakfast. And I'm sure Engineer Evan has a full day of probably working on his computer and writing programs and things like that. And he would like to go as well. So I want to bid you farewell. Thank you so much for being here with me. I realize that you could be a million different places, but you decided to give me your time and attention, and I appreciate that. Once again, next week we will be here at the same time, same place. I'm pointing at my calendar. I know you can't see that, but 11 o'clock Next week, bring a friend. Tell somebody about this program and bring a friend. Meet me here, 11 o'clock, Missy Lane Productions on Facebook and YouTube. And I cannot wait to see you here. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Engineer Evan. I'm Missy Lane, and this is Missy Lane's Read Along. And I will see you next week. You all take care. I love you and keep reading. Bye now.